Welcome to the live stream, Arm Wrestling fans. I'm Pradeep from Arm Wrestling News, and our guest for today, Coach Ray, Mr. Raimonds Liepins, will be joining us anytime soon. So please hold on for that. It is going to be an amazing interview. Raimonds is one of the guys that I always wanted to have a chat with, but I was not able to for some reason. The only reason is actually I didn't try. No other reason. And Mark Skigera, thank you very much, man. You are slowly turning out to be the best number one supporter of this channel. You're always commenting on English channels. And Coach Ray, looks like Coach Ray is here. So guys, our guest, hello brother. So guys, our guest is here. And I was explaining to the viewers that you are one of the guys that I always wanted to be on my channel. Only few are left, like John Brzink, Travis Bajent, you, Cobra, and Raimonds. I have always looked up to you in the arm wrestling community. Like, if I ever thought I'm going to be big in the arm wrestling community, you are leaving the footsteps that I want to follow. Like, I always find our visions in a very, very similar direction, and you must also know about them from our private conversations. So you're a great personality in the arm wrestling community. Welcome, brother.
Oh, thank you. We have never done this, yeah?
Nope, this is the first time.
Oh, how is that possible? I feel like we've done this like 10 times or 20. In my mind, I was like, hell, Pradeep again, I was like, again?
Actually, that's the beauty of the internet. Even if you're talking with someone for the first time, it feels like we know these guys, especially with the YouTubers, because we almost know all of their thoughts that they're presenting in the videos.
Yes, yeah, that's the weird one in this world that we're living in. I have so many friends, like I consider a friend that I have pretty much never met, which is ridiculous, but that's the future. That's the future.
It happens with me as well. Like, I get almost 5 to 10 friend requests on Facebook almost daily. And whenever I see more than one mutual friend, I always click on accept. Always click on accept. So Mark Skigera with a massive super chat. Thank you very much, brother. Good luck for your own arm wrestling journey and Shagun first practice session. Shagun kind of means a good omen. So I did an arm wrestling practice in about 1 year. I would say it was my second practice in 1.5 years. And as expected, everyone was top rolling me. Felt kind of good in a hook, but nobody was allowing me to cup. So Ray, the first question, you are known as coach. So of course, this question should be for you. Apart from your playlists, and even about the playlist, which playlist I seriously want to train in arm wrestling. Maybe I'm never going to get to that level, but at least to a level where I can beat guys like Ryan Bowen left-handed. I want to get to that level. So where should I start? How can Voice of Arm Wrestling and Coach Ray help a beginner like me?
So I think the biggest if you will talk with any great in any sport, like it doesn't matter who you talk, like you go to basketball, there's Kobe and there's LeBron and MJ, and you go to Tyson, it's the volume of work they put in. Like even in our sport, like the volume of work that John has put in his arm, especially at the start, it helps. So my best advice is train as much as you can, train as often as you can. Put your ego aside, because that's the, when you start, like my competition with you, if we're arm wrestlers, should be on table. It should not be all the time who lifts bigger weight. It's good because it pushes you. But most of the people, you cannot survive it. Very specific, not specific, but very rare is the individual who can survive really hard training. Most of the people will just need a volume work. And like, if you would ask me like a few years ago, I would say like train hard, you have to lift, whatever. Now I would say like train as much volume as possibly you can handle without actually doing a damage for you. So when I think about training, or when I say it's not about this training session, it's about next 10 or 20. So if you kill yourself or one element, you do too much back pressure, you want to do a stupid lift and see how much can you lift for no reason. Like one rep maxes, it's kind of cool, but they don't do anything for you in the sport. Like if I go and I do 1 rep max, it's only to test 1 rep max. I didn't train in that session. There would be like Tadzilla method where you do those things, but he puts in a lot of work in between. It's not just one thing he does. He kind of climbs to that. So I see a benefit in there where you do it consistently. The problem is guys will see a one lift and they'll just do that lift and they will go balls to the wall, arms hurt. They didn't get any benefit. They kind of broke their body and then they move to the next one, not really working on that one. So put in as much work as you can. So if your wrist sucks, do all the wrist exercise you can think of. Like if the exercise feels terrible and you don't like it, and this feels like, oh my God, it puts too much stress somewhere, you can still do it, but you feel like you're weak there. That's where you should be working on. So put in ton of work. Because it's like, if you're behind, you have to catch up with everyone. And if you look at arm wrestlers, we're built differently. A lot of guys will just lift super big heavy weights and they will be really strong. And then there comes guys that don't do those lifts and they're really that good. So the big lifts, in my opinion, is not the common denominator. It's not the one thing that it's making them strong. Because you can look at like Mindaugas Tarasaitis is like one of my greatest examples. Mindaugas doesn't train like most people. Like he's just that good. So to get that good, you don't need to do those extra things. You just need to put a lot of consistent work. And I know Minda works hard all the time. I pretty much believe every day he will do something. Like Giannis does a lot of work. Like I haven't skipped a day where I don't train now, because if I can do some extra work, that's going to give me the extra result. The problem is when you think you go to training session, that's the only thing that's going to help you get better. Everyone who's ever been great or whoever wants to achieve some kind of success, they are obsessed. You have to be obsessed with the sport. Of course, you can do less and still enjoy it and still be good. Like before this match, I thought I trained a lot. I thought I do a lot. Turns out I didn't do shit. This has been like the most volume work I have ever done. I feel, and like I said, my approach was not to kill myself. Think about my next 10 training sessions ahead. If I kill myself, if I do too much somewhere, it will impact my next training sessions where I cannot train, but I have to recover. So if the part of training is the training part, and if you're doing one rep maxes, that's one rep maxes. So people kind of get these confused because arm wrestling, there's no numbers. You cannot say, let's say Prudnik is 70 and this guy is 72. So you cannot chase those numbers because they don't exist. Like I'll look at someone who's really strong and they do some kind of lift. They do it pretty similar to me on table. On table, I demolish them or they demolish me when we are not even close. So I look at those things, they don't matter. The conditioning of your arm matters, how much stress you can hold, positions and everything else. Because arm wrestling is weird. When I see a lot of dumb shit on internet. I have done a lot of dumb shit, and the training has evolved. If your training doesn't evolve, you kind of you're not putting enough mind effort in it, because even if nothing else changes, you change, so it needs to adapt. For every beginner, put in as much work as you can. Like if your wrist is like, if you can just pull on table, don't waste your time building incredibly strong side pressure and hurting your arm just because you want to build side pressure, because that's what you need. Most likely you need pronator, you need hand, and you need back pressure, and side pressure will come, So I went a little too far, I'm sorry, but that's how I see it. That's my picture. That's how I look at it. Because it's there's arm wrestlers any kind of way, shape, or form, and lifting heavy is not the common denominator. It's not the thing. Being consistent is, being very well coordinated is. So for me, it's if I can get 100 reps on one kind of movement, most likely my neural pathways will help me be more coordinated than someone who just doing that exercise 5 sets of 5. So I'm like 75% more work put in that, because arm wrestling it's more about coordination. You can find any guy that is really strong on table. They are most likely uncoordinated. So it's very easy to beat them. They get more coordinated. It was like, oh, he gotten stronger, like magically just No, you just got coordinated, like in any sport, and people kind of try to put arm wrestling in different categories, but it is sport just like another. It's strength, combat, kind of mixed together.
Right. And Mark was asking about your schedule 3 days prior to a match. We are going to talk about that in the later part of this live stream. And hi, Pradeep and friends. Okay, 9:15 Dubai, usual suspects. All right. So, brothers, I usually like to keep the streams to the topic only, related to the topic only. But since this is the first time you are on our show, our guest, so I have to ask you about your journey. How did it begin for you, arm wrestling? Were you powerlifting before that? And what was your level when you started arm wrestling?
So I think the first time I saw an arm wrestling table was 2006. It's the same gym I train now. That's the school I went to. I think maybe a few months in, and that was my first experience with gym. My hometown, small would be understatement. Like my primary school, we had like less than 100 children there. So I came from pretty much a countryside, and there was no opportunity. I'm a small kid. I just had my appendix surgery in the summer, and I see a gym and I just fall in love and I just start training religiously. That's all I could do. You couldn't get me out of there. And I improved on a lot of things. Bench was the thing that I just kind of, boom, just straight away went up there and spent my 4 years training there and competed in arm wrestling from time to time. One of my best friends took me to competition. He's still my best friend, and he was like top 70 kilo puller in Latvia. And I remember we went to competition and I could beat his left arm, and his right was just ridiculous. But we had like sum of both arms. So you get awarded by sum of both arms. So if you place like first and seventh, you get 8 points. And I usually was like third on the right and first or second with left. So most of the time we went to same competitions. I keep beating him. I keep beating him in overall. And kind of stayed with it. Finished the school, took a year off. Was going to get my bachelor's degree, and I was still bench pressing because I didn't do powerlifting because no one teach me about squat or deadlift, so I was just benching. And I was gonna be a powerlifting coach, and somehow I went to the school, started the year. Giannis gives me a call because I was in summer and arm wrestling competition. He invites me to go to Sweden. I went to Sweden, first international tournament, competed there. I think I got second or third place. I did pretty good, but it's normal competition, nothing special. But and then Giannis calls me and he says, how about you stay with arm wrestling? And he gave me my first job, and somehow from there, like I was in the sport seriously for a year, and I became a coach, and that's what I did for like. As soon as they told me like you will have your own group of arm wrestlers that you will train, I went 100% in it. And from that group was Vlad, Kaspars, and few more that has been on international stages as well, and done pretty damn good, and still train and still compete. And there was about 20 guys. I stayed there for a year, then start working in different gym, built my own club. 3 years later, I had my own gym. That's the gym we train now. I got that, and so yeah, somewhere in between, became the president of federation and all those things. For me, it's kind of blur. Everything is kind of blurry. But I would say my arm wrestling ambition stopped at 2011 and then reemerged in 2020 because I was putting myself behind. Like I trained with the guys. I was going like, if you don't lead by an example, you actually don't lead. You're just, you're being a dick in charge. So I was training really hard. So just they see how much effort you need to put in. And I think that brought in great results for Latvians. But my stress levels coming with competition, if I have to organize competition in Latvia, I have to do most stuff here. So I have zero energy to compete, but I still try to compete, sometimes good, sometimes bad. Competitions where I had less responsibilities, I did better. I went to Europeans and Worlds, and usually my juniors competed first 2 days. After that, I have zero energy left. I don't want to compete. So my best results have come like years past that, because I kind of a little bit put focus on myself, and I understood, like I learned from finally from my mistakes how to conserve my energy and how to be in a moment. But even now, if you look at my best results, most competitions, I have no responsibilities, or I go there with one or two athletes. So I can do pretty good, like, or I will have energy for one day. So, it's kind of blessing and curse, but I'm happy to chase what I didn't think is possible a few years ago, because I'm really strong right now, and I'm happy with that. Yeah.
And this time also you are having some responsibilities of commentating the matches, but that is luckily after your own match, so it won't be much of a problem.
I don't want to do anything before that. I absolutely don't want to do anything. They will ask me to go to meetings and everything else, and I'll say no. After, you can talk with me after. I know the job, I know responsibilities, whatever they need me on stage, I'll do it. They need me in commentating booth, I'll do it, but just leave me the F alone.
Yeah. And this is the first time I saw anyone in the arm wrestling community post that, hey guys, I'm free only for today. If anybody wants a podcast with me, please contact me. I really liked it, and I jumped on it as soon as I can. And here we are. So I wanted to ask you about your degree in arm wrestling coaching. Were you the first one who started that, or and how is it continuing after you have done that degree? Are many others also following that path in arm wrestling in Latvia?
Like I started it like of course Giannis, they like most of my arm wrestling knowledge comes from Giannis and whatever, like the pad they walked in. I added my own stuff, and we still talk with Giannis and exchange ideas. So I like everything I know, Giannis has forgotten at some point. That's how I see, because they have like 20 years of great experience. Like Latvians work differently. Why other guys think, oh, I'm just gonna take this and get stronger. We go back and we're like, how do I train to get better? And that's always been the difference, and I like that path. And I think that's, I think about coaching and not coaching, but training constantly. Like, how can we get better? And I went through different phases. Now Sanders is doing his own coaching. We have since I started and like put in the work, we have like 4 or 5 new clubs in Latvia. Before then, it was like just 2 clubs, pretty much 2 clubs. So we're slowly emerging from that, because I always tell to guys, like, they would kill to get the advice that you're getting for free, and the problem here is we don't have enough people. We're a small country, and not everyone wants to do an arm wrestling, but it's getting better. We're getting new talent, not as much as like Kazakhs or Russia or Ukraine or Georgia, but one talented arm wrestler every 2 years is good for us, because most of the time they stay and they keep themselves active. But right now there's few arm wrestling coaches. I do my work really seriously. We have training schedule. My club is the biggest club in Latvia, and the gym is always full. Giannis is doing his own team, and there's some others, and Sanders is doing its smaller team and far away. And I see the things that we're doing. A lot of guys are doing also, and so it helps the sport to grow. The thing is, I started this channel like before Giannis to give advice on training, because I thought, like, there's so many dumb things around that people don't understand, and they just keep doing. And how about I'll explain to you what it is that you do and why you should or should not do it, and then you can, I'll just tell you what it is, how it is, and not give you anything else. So I think Devon was doing something similar before that. He was giving training advice and things like that, but no one was really sharing anything. And I think one of the big parts of powerlifting growth has been that people share their information. Like, they have gotten rid of all those dumb trainings, whatever what someone did back in the day, and just destroyed every record possible. And I think we need that in arm wrestling. We need someone just come in, like, I think this exercise that you guys doing, is not good. This is better. This will achieve it better. And that's how we make the sport more professional, have it, bigger. And I think it's just the beginning. It's just the beginning. More people will come to social media. More people will come out and they will have really smart brains, and they will give great exercises, and they will give great, whatever that is. A lot of people are saying, well, you guys are the best. Most likely we're not the best, but we are the ones that are not afraid to tell our ideas, or, share our ideas, because that's one of the things in the world. You need to share it, and then it all will grow. Yeah, I don't know if I get sidetracked with that question, but that's how it is. I can't hear you.
Yeah, it is good because we get to know about new things. And from what I was kind of getting when you were talking about your country is that small country, small population, maybe the number of arm wrestlers is also not that big, but the level is high. That much we can see. Like I was searching, the population of Latvia is only about 2 million people. 10 times more number than that travel in trains in India in one day. 20 million travel in trains in one day in India, and the population of Latvia is 2 million. So and still great level. So I want to know, is there any government benefit if you like get a medal in Europeans or worlds? How does the Latvian government look at arm wrestling?
So we've been fighting for us to be recognized as the sport. So arm wrestling sport has been recognized and is recognized in Latvia. Since WAF got into the GAIS and Sport Accord, we have a chance to receive money if we place top 3 in Europeans or Worlds. But you will see, just like you can win 4 medals, 2 in European, 2 in Worlds, and you will still get 1 money prize, which is not bad. The sums change. It's something from 2,000 up to maybe 5,000 euros. And we had Sandris got some money, and Vlad got some money in 2018 or 19. I'm messing it up. And as a coach, Janis got a half what Sandris got, and I got a half Vlad got. So it's good. COVID kind of effed us up. So we're waiting. Maybe next year will be different, because then we got a lot of medals from Europeans and Worlds. And if we can put it all, then you can see the benefit, and people will see the benefit. And that's not small money for here. So, like average pay in Latvia is like 1.2 thousand euros, something like that. And you get like half a year's money from just pulling in Europeans, pulling on in Worlds. That's I think that's pretty good. But other than that, it's very hard. Arm wrestling is still in the dark. Like I'm way more popular anywhere else on the planet than I am here, because there's different sports. In small country, it's very hard to get out because different bigger sports dominate. But it's not bad to be an arm wrestler here. And as a president of the federation, like one of my main things is I try to pay for everything if the athletes are going to offer Worlds or Europeans. That has been like the number one. Like building competitions here in Latvia is important, but most important is that someone who can win the medal should not be paying for your own, living or staying or something like that. Because for 20 years, Giannis and everyone who came before that, they have to pay it out of their own pocket. Like Giannis and Raimonds, Norman, Jan, all of them traveled so much. Like I think I haven't traveled nearly as much as they have just to get to that level, just to go to competitions, to figure out stuff, get some training advices, and bringing it back, showing that Latvian arm wrestling. So it's hard, it's not easy, but that's life,
Yeah. And Neil Pickup is also in the house. And guys, please subscribe to Voice of Arm Wrestling, Neil Pickup's channel, and Arm Wars, Neil's other channel. Rolly Ray is an extremely underrated arm wrestler. He is very talented puller, extremely technically proficient, and exciting to watch. He also takes magnificent photos in forests and love cats. Ray, I would say I may be the one who used to, not now, I do not have cats now. I used to love cats more than anyone else. Like there are many cat stories that I have. but I haven't been around them for like 7-8 years. So I don't like to talk about those past
We'll
stories.
do some. We'll do some. We should do cat podcast and just talk about cats. Shout out to Neil Pickup. This mug is to the best puller in Iron House. Somehow I got it. So cheers, Neil.
Yeah, and with that being said, arm wars has been a great part in your journey. I remember you saying 1.5 or maybe 2 years ago, you always used to say that one line repeatedly, that you think that you are not an elite arm wrestler. I hope you also remember that. You always used to say that. But last 1.5 year and 2 year have been really, really amazing. I'm not sure if you have lost a match other than the Florida Hogland matches, but everything has been going good for you. You are the most active arm wrestler out there, and you won almost everything in arm wars. You won your second medal, I think, at Europeans, bronze medal it was. So where do you see yourself now? Do you consider yourself an elite now, or what else do you have to do to achieve that status?
That's hard. Like I'm like, so the journey is always more interesting than the top, because at the top it's very hard. There's so many strong guys at the top and it's ridiculous. So I would consider myself an 85 kilo puller that's pushing 90 with three double chins. And if I'm right there, I still have to feel those arms and see where I am behind or in front of someone. Like elite is very difficult. Like elite, I would say it's like the best guys in your weight class, like top 10 guys in your weight class, in only that weight class. Those are elite guys. If you are number 20, are you're pro, and or something like that. Right now I feel I feel really strong, and the path that I'm taking and everything else, I'm kind of building. I'm getting better, and I'm getting tougher guys, and I'm pulling tougher guys. And I don't know. I will only know when I get there. But I never dreamed of some of the guys that I have beaten that I would beat them. Like I was in my head, like every match that I have ever had, I was like underdog. Maybe a few matches where I was like, okay, I'm gonna win this guy. This is no problem. But it's funny with Ryan. There hasn't been a thought that I would lose. I am the underdog, but that just gave me more fuel. But there's no thought for 9 weeks that I might lose to him. And it's still not. Like I was thinking today, I was like, did I doubt it myself? Sometimes I remember with who I was thinking. I think with Craig Sanders, like in the middle of night, like week before. I wake up, I couldn't sleep. I open my iPhone, I'm looking through the videos. I open, my heart is like racing, and now it's just like, I've seen so much of Ryan, it doesn't faze me. I don't know. It's just different. It feels different. I feel, like I said many times, confident. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. If Ryan beats me, that I can say for sure. He is strong, because right now I am really the strongest I have been. I know how strong the top guys in Latvia are and where they stack up with the rest of the world. I am really strong. He beats me. He's really strong. How good he is, I don't know. It will take more than one super match versus Ray. So,
Right. A few comments. I'm going to get back to them. And you were an inspiration for me in one other matter that I haven't told you yet. And a related comment to that would be from Chinmay Das. This interview is almost a 1 hour monologue. No doubt this man can talk. So you were really a big inspiration for me before creating this YouTube channel, because I thought that probably I'm correct. You have not learned English in your school. You learned it by watching movies and talking with listening to other people talk. And I thought I'm someone that I had never spoken English. Even in our school, we used to learn English in Hindi, in our own language. We never used to speak English. We used to write it in exams, but never used to speak. Then I thought, Coach Ray is doing great. His English is, I saw that journey where your English was improving. Even now, if you watch your 4-year-old video, we can clearly see the transition. That kind of gave me like good belief in myself that I can easily do that, because I've learned English for 12 years in school. So you were that inspiration as well. Why I
I
started?
I learned. We had English in school. My English was good since then, but there was a lot of mistakes. Like I said DZ all the time. Z. Giannis still keeps saying it, but no one should correct him. Just let's leave the man alone. That's his signature. Giannis says back pressure, and this is the best. So
This.
and yeah.
And a couple about 10-15 minutes ago, you said that there has not been a day when you missed your training. So related to that, there are two questions. One from Ben Young: how many hours does Coach Ray train in a week? I would also ask in a day as well. And the other question from Mark in the beginning was, what is your schedule 3 days before a super match?
Okay. So usually my training, like for this one, has been, I don't think I have ever done less than 2 hours. 2 hours is absolute minimum, and then I'm either it's a shorter training session and I'm very efficient, or I'm just too tired to do anything else. I have to run somewhere, but it's usually 3 hours, like 3 hours, maybe a little more, and it's has been 7 days a week. So yeah, do the math. 20, almost one full day I just spend on training, and that's considering everything together. It's not just weight training. It's not just pulling on table. It's also sometimes running and things like that, cardio stuff. So I will do my whole workout, and then I'll go outside and run for 30 minutes, then come back and work on my recovery tissue and things like that. And sauna, cold plunge, all those things is involved. Sometimes in the middle of night, like 1 a.m., I'll do some foam rolling around if something is, needs a little bit more recovery and things like that. And so, like I said, a lot of volume, like crazy amounts of volume. 3 days before, so we had this interview with Todd Hutchings, and Todd said, like, you should be training all the way up until the match, and only before the match you should take off. And I was like, like, I don't know, like usually I need to recover because everything is hurting. That was the thing. Like I was over pushing myself. Like nothing's hurting. Like I can pull today with Brian Bowen without any problem. I can have that match today. So, and I haven't had any rest days. So I think if I can have 1-2 rest days, that will be good enough. So most likely I will train tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday. It's still the gym session, most likely all the arm wrestling specific exercises, but I'm going more for speed than weights, So fast, proficient, execution to get the positions, to get activated all the central nervous system. Then Wednesday, most likely I will just do some general like back work or things like that, but not touch my arms at all. And Thursday, maybe a light workout for my forearms, things like that, multi-spinner stuff, and just to warm up. It's not even blood flow. I don't like when people do like, oh, do blood bowl, do 50 reps. Like, you don't need to do 50 reps. You can do 10 reps and have a great blood flow workout. So something like that. And maybe then just Friday off and Saturday evening, and I'm good, because I'm kind of deloading. Everything is like Giannis Giannis, like, you have to move that weight faster. So because the way I've been training, way I've been pulling, I'm slow. I'm really slow considered to who I was, but that's because of the training that I take. There's a lot of volume, similar like Devon, but I need that explosiveness, and I always have that explosiveness. And I did few sessions, and explosiveness just comes back. You're like, okay, good. So that's how I'm focusing. So from bigger weights 2 weeks ago to a little bit more explosive exercises, like half of this week, and start of next week, and then that's it. Just that's it.
And you were mentioning earlier that you can pull with Ryan even now without any problem. I think you haven't taken a good look at his forearm. That is why you're saying things like that. So what do you have to say about that?
I'm not scared. Like that's some crazy Photoshop. He can say whatever he wants. That dude's wrist isn't big as his head. It doesn't matter to me. I feel so good right now. My arms feel like that good. Like usually I need like 20 minutes warm up before we can pull. I usually just slow, and that because of all those small injuries I had. So all this time I've been not just training, I'm trying to get rid of those injuries. And now I just can go. Like I don't need extra pulls. Like even with Giannis, usually with Giannis, you need to warm up, Now it's just like we grip up and I'm ready to go. So yeah.
I think Sol Larun is in love with Ryan Bowen. First, the picture, if you remember, the RVJ versus Ryan Bowen, he put RVJ's bicep on Ryan Bowen. And now this forearm. So we have a super chat from William Estrom, Swedish Krona 55. Thank you very much, brother. Ray, do you think North America hasn't produced new top pullers due to the fact that almost all super heavyweight North American top guys are technical outliers whose advice isn't general? So is North America not producing enough new good super heavyweight pullers?
Yeah, that's a weird one. That always kind of, I think there's a lot of good guys there. The problem is, and it's always the problem of when you are trapped in the same room with everyone, you think this, when you beat everyone, you think you're the strongest guy. And you have to go outside all the time of that room and look for a better room. And that's what most pullers in WAF are doing, constantly. They just keep pushing themselves. I feel like that is kind of a little bit of the problem. If those guys, like most guys that are really good, have traveled around. If you look at them, like John has traveled immensely, like Todd Hutchings, like he has pulled anywhere on the planet. And most guys from North America are kind of staying in North America. They might go out and they might get their ass kicked or, do pretty decent. And then they don't come back. So I think that's one of the things that you need to do. But it's a weird one that North America isn't like, I would think there should be like, there's so many people, strong people. So I think it's coming. But maybe the mentality needs to change a little bit and maybe approach needs to change a little bit because some of those guys are really dedicated. They're really strong. And we see a lot of emerging young guys, but they need to go to the toughest competition. They need to lose. They need to feel how terrible it is to lose, to some unknown kid that doesn't have Instagram with 10,000 followers. And then you will train even harder. And then you will see you have another gear. And, that's what kind of happening in Europe because we of course, we had that opportunity to travel. We have different mentalities, different arms and everything else. And I think that kind of helps produce better talent.
Neil Pickup was mentioning Rolly Ray versus Tom Holland should be fired in Iron House. Two natural arm wrestlers with great heart and tenacity. I cannot wait. So talking about natural arm wrestlers, why no to steroids? Is it the fear of getting caught? Is it something ethical? Is it the fear of getting embarrassed if you take steroids and you get caught? So why no to steroids? Why don't get just juiced up and destroy Ryan Bowen?
That's a great question. No one has asked me something like that. Like why no? So I think I have to go back, like really go back. When I started benching, I was benching 100 kilos. I was weighing 60 maybe, and I was like, oh my God, this is a lot because not a lot of guys in that gym was lifting 100 kilos. Everyone's like, this small kid, that's kind of impressive. And we like the internet was very young and there was maybe few forums in Latvia. And I was like, what's going on? And they're like, oh, you reach your genetical max. You will never lift more. You need to take this stuff. And I'm like, that sounds illegal, and I remember I was like, okay. And, some guys are taking it. And I was like, maybe I have to take it. I was training for two months and I lifted 115 kilos. I'm like, well, that advice is bullshit. I'm like, you haven't worked, enough. So for me, that was like, maybe I can push myself more. What do I know what I can push? And then, of course, with Giannis, he's there's never a talk of it in the gym. If it's a talk, it's only to make fun of someone. It's always we find the best methods. We will take natural supplement road all day, creatine all day, boy, and it somehow stick. Like even now, like I could have been tested. I don't know, maybe 7 times. Like not in past 2 years, because but when I was benching, I was getting tested. In arm wrestling, I have been tested. We have like Vlad Kristaps, Sandris, Normans, all of them are on Adam's list. So Kristaps did his doping test at 6 a.m. like 2 weeks ago. They just come to his house and he has to do it. So in Latvia, it's of course you can do it, and I would not waste my time thinking about how not to get caught. Like, imagine if I get caught from that. Like, I'm the president of federation. It doesn't look good on the whole federation. So I'm standing more than for just myself. And even for like a lot of people, like, oh, he will, everyone needs to do it. Or you're like, yeah, you maybe. I don't, I armwrestling is one of those sports where I know you can achieve almost anything. It will be extremely, if not impossible, to be super heavyweight, number one on the planet without pancakes. But everything else is possible. I absolutely know it. I have seen it. So, yeah. And the culture, it's different here than it is, it is maybe even in North America. In North America, like things that I saw guys talking about tournament, like I was like, what the, for me, it's everything is kind of new because we just train hard. We are trying to be smarter. And you look at, like, I'm sorry if I offend someone, but look at the approach that we're giving and approach that some guys are taking. It's not the same. It is not the same, not even close. So for me, it's many things, but of course it's tempting. Like I was like, I'm this strong. Imagine how strong I would be. But would I be that strong, or someone else in my body would be that strong? So for me, those, kind of like, I really don't need it. I thought at one point maybe after 30, but I'm 32 now, and I feel better than I felt at my 20s. So what the hell, Like I benched like 190 kilos today, this morning when I woke up. I did my bench press, and then I did my whole workout. Someone told me like 100 was impossible. So fuck you.
Great motivation. And Mark Skigara was asking, Coach Ray, will you use a riser? So he's already answered that question. There will not be a riser available there, and he doesn't really need a riser on his right arm. So, and there was one powerlifter in Indian arm wrestling as well. She's about, I think, in her 40s. She just started powerlifting in 2017. I saw her at the Pro Punja League competition, and she told me about her lifts. She was saying equipped and non-equipped lifts. So her lifts were like bench 110, squat 220, deadlift 240, and she immediately became a national champion. Then she tried strong woman, became a champion there as well within a year. Then started arm wrestling 2019, and I was like, what are your best matches? And she said, all are same to me. I have not lost a single round since I started competing. And even in that nationals competition a few days ago, she's just like, maybe one lady got her wrist a little bit, but her arm was not moving. She just pushed through. So definitely there can be a good carryover from powerlifting to arm wrestling.
I think it's just strong mentality. Someone will ask me, like everyone asks me all the time, like, does bench help in arm wrestling? No, but it helps me. I feel strong. If I can bench a lot of weight, I feel I am strong human. So the carryover is usually how much force you can generate to your body. Like none of those lifts like actually help. But if you're well coordinated and you're stronger than most humans, it will, especially for women. If you're on that top women where you are somewhat strong as a man.
Yeah. And I would like to ask you about the match. Before that, only one question, and maybe we should get to because we don't have enough time left, I guess. So about this match, not many people know that if this match was not happening at East versus West, maybe India was the second place where this match could have happened. We were already trying to figure out a date, maybe July or August, something like that. But before that, Engin Terzi announced the match. But anyways, great match. Raimonds, I definitely believe, unlike many other people, that this match has the potential to be one of the best, if not the best match on the card, because I truly, truly believe that you guys are very closely matched in every department. Both of you can hook, you can top roll, have a great endurance. Your press is better, maybe. Ryan does not have a press off the go, but after a match, after tiring the opponent, he also has a press. And I've seen many polls. You are the favorite slightly in almost all of the polls, except for one poll on my channel. I created a poll on my channel, and Ryan is about 52% favorite with about 1,000 votes. So what do you think about the is Ryan's actually both of in other matches, I would say a popularity may be swaying the votes of the swaying the general opinion of the public, but it is not the case here. You both are equally popular, one of the most famous YouTubers.
Yeah,
So
but I'm not as well hated as Ryan is. I'm like he made a promo. He's like good versus evil, and I'm like the hero versus villain. Oh, kind of, And I think it's a lot of people just want to see Ryan lose, and I received like a ton of messages, like hundreds of messages. Like every time I met someone, doesn't matter where I was, Turkey, Dubai, someone walks up to me, they're like, "Oh my God, please beat him! You have to beat him!" Like, "How you doing, Ray? Oh, amazing! Let's take a picture. You have to beat Bowen. Bye." All those interactions are the same. So I think Ryan kind of, it's not helping his case. Everyone, but enough people want to see you lose, they will tune in all the time. So I think that kind of works out as well. He's been nice, like this with me. He's been nice. He's been, you know, you know what I mean.
yeah.
He hasn't gone full delusional, I think. But yeah, I don't know.
So I noticed one thing, and please tell me if that statement or those statements from some arm wrestlers bother you or not. First, a statement coming from Artem, and you both have faced and defeated Artem in a kind of a similar way. Artem, I think, got one pin on you. Was it right-handed or left-handed?
Right-handed, yeah.
And but
yeah,
yes, Ryan's match with him was about 3 years ago, but both I can assume both may have progressed equally well. And Artem was very clearly saying that this could be a mismatch. Ryan is going to beat you. And second comment from Chan Shaw, and I think one other guy who has faced Ryan Bowen, they all are saying that Ryan should win this match comfortably. So does those statements, if you have heard them, bother you or not?
No, like everyone thinks what they want to think, and if Ryan has convinced, like when this match started, I was looking at myself as like, I'm clearly the underdog. Ryan is bigger, his ambitions are bigger, whatever. But the work that I put in has put me in a different mindset. Like I'm not just confident that I will win. I'm confident I'm gonna be way better than he is. So I really don't care. Like even Artem's like, I don't know, where you can draw. Like where Artem faced me, he was ridiculously strong. I don't think Ryan faced the same Artem for sure. Like I said, like even in that match, I was dealing with jet lag, and Ryan's going to deal with a hell of a jet lag there as well. So that doesn't, make you shine as good. But I don't care. I absolutely don't care. Like Devon thinks like Ryan's going to win or whoever. It doesn't matter. Even my mom would call me, Ray, I think Ryan, he's more ginger than you and he might win. I don't care. I could care less. Like other people's opinions I don't care about them, because I still have to go in that match and I still have to face him. So if like you said, like I never have put in my mind for the past 9 weeks that I might lose or I am weaker. I think I am. So my opinion, my confident opinion, I think I train more than him. I'm way more conditioned. I think I am stronger almost everywhere. He has some advantages. I'm going to take away those advantages. The only thing that will shock me is when we grip up and he just rips me to the side without letting me getting engaged for 3 rounds. That will be the only thing I'll say, oh my God, Ryan is so ridiculously strong. This is over. I don't see that happening. I don't think anyone sees that happening, So I don't know where that's coming from.
Oscar Maldonado is saying Pradeep versus Paul Italia, East versus West 6 confirmed. And so do you think first of all, do you think this match is going to be a war or easy win? Unlike like Ryan is always saying that you may not be able to tell Ryan's level because this is going to be one-sided, which I think I can almost bet on it. That match is not going to be one-sided. I don't think any of the rounds are going to be less than 15-20 seconds. So how do you see yourself winning? Top roll hook, endurance, what is your best weapon?
But lately it's been it's been a lot of hand control and things like that. So I want to get that. I want to make this dirty. I want to make it dogfight. I really want to make it. Like Ryan wants to make a statement, so I know my endurance is great. Like I'm again, I think my endurance is better, and if the match stops in any kind of position and I have to dig myself out, I'll get better the longer the match goes. So if I can make this a dogfight, because that's what I want. Like I don't want to. The most unsatisfying feeling for me would be go there and just smash him 3 times. Like most unsatisfying feeling. Like I spent this whole time preparing and you cannot give me anything. And I think for him, it would be similar. He might say he wants to make a statement, whatever. He wants to arm wrestle. I like Ryan, and this is the reason why Neil loves Ryan, because he arm wrestles. He can arm wrestle. And that's the opponents I'm kind of looking for. Like, I don't care about those guys that just want to flash pin you 3 times or 6 times or whatever. If we can get into an arm wrestling match and figure out who's the better arm wrestler, those are the matches I love. And if I can get that match, I'll be super happy. I'll be the luckiest Latvian on the planet.
But Ray, I do believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, you used to be that guy who was all about flash pins and winning. You just changed yourself in the last couple of years, I think.
Yes, I embraced myself. Like, I remember, I think I said this on Aussie. I was afraid. Like, I go to a match and I was so afraid to lose my hand that I would put myself in a position where I would not lose my hand but lose the match. And somewhere in reality check, in between everything, I was like, come on, embrace who you are. Like, my endurance has always been my best thing about me. I'm strong, but my endurance has always been like, embrace it. And I remember in Mazahir's match, at one point, the match is just like this, and I am here and he's way down there, and I'm on 5th floor right now. So same thing happened with Patrick Berg. Same thing happened with Tobias. The only one I couldn't do that is the king himself. It's Frode. But embrace it. Embrace the terrible situations. And even in Craig Sanders' match, which is my favorite match of all time, I was like, I was very patient. I did my thing, and 4-2. It was a great battle, and it kind of came up. But yeah, there was a lot of people are too afraid of losing. Like, I am not afraid to be in positions when you are confident there. Like, that's who you are. You cannot fight who you are. Like, the fast guys, they cannot be endurance guys. It's very hard for them to be endurance guys. A lot of guys, they're so strong, they will take control. It looks like it's nothing, and they will lose all the next rounds just because of that fact. You cannot be someone you're not. So for me, I just have to be whoever I am.
Yeah. And Ray, since you mentioned Mazahir, I actually met him on 22nd this month, and he just went through everyone in the nationals in the super heavy 100+ kg class, and he was looking massive. He was looking jacked, and in the videos he looked kind of fat, but here he was looking absolutely massive. I talked with him, and he's bloodthirsty. He wants that rematch against you, man. He seriously wants that rematch.
Cut down to 90, Mazahir. I'm stopping giving out handouts. I don't give any more handouts. That's enough. Let's set this up. Meet me at 90. I have no problem to beat your ass one more time.
But it is impossible. It is impossible because, as I told you, he was looking more jacked, and I asked him, what is your weight? He told me that he's 109 kilos, and he told me that when he arm wrestled you, he was like 102 or 103. And man, that guy's looking solid now.
Yeah. Hey, I think I gave that man more motivation than anything. Like, I wish him all the success. Like, if he does great, I look even better. So I love Mazahir. He's a great guy. And we had one of the iconic matches of King of the Table for sure. If in all 2021, and he is a killer. He had some problems in his game, and he just needs to compete. And I think he's one of the best guys there for sure, if maybe not the best guy, you know. And there's a video of me and Dave Chafee pulling and Mazahir, and Mazahir is doing Mazahir's thing, and Dave just keeps stop rolling Dave, and Dave's like, "What the hell is going on here?" You know. So that's how good Mazahir is. So Mazahir is really, really good, and I like that guy. But I'll meet him at 90 if he wants some smoke. You know? Yeah.
He can never get out right, especially after looking at him. So Z's guitar account with a big $10 super chat. Ray, you have progressed so much as an arm wrestler these past 3 years, most notably your patience and poise at the table. It's really fun to watch. Excited to see the Aussies and Latvians go at it.
Yeah.
And I'll ask you a couple of more questions, then I'll let you go, brother. I want to get back to, but first of all, guys, please purchase the pay-per-view East versus West for 8 p.m. Turkish time on 6th of August, $15 pay-per-view. And that one match is definitely worth $5 out of those 15. Big match.
So me and Ryan is the number one match, first match of the card. So you don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss the live stream. You have to buy it. It's not the last one. You cannot just buy it and drink some beer. No, straight from the go, you have the match of the year happening straight away. I sent a message today to Ryan. I was like, when you arrive? He's like, I'm arriving 5 a.m. Wednesday. I'm like, okay, I'll see you in Turkey. Match of the year is the criteria. That's what we're aiming for. He's like, okay, brother.
And all the links are in the description. GoFundMe, pay-per-view, channel of the athletes, everything is in the description. I wanted to ask you one question in the beginning, but I forgot. I would like to ask you now. Briefly, very briefly, I just want the names without much detail. Who would you consider top 5 Latvian arm wrestlers ever in any weight class? And second question would be, how many of those athletes are full-time arm wrestlers? My guess would be that you may be the only full-time arm wrestler in Latvia. So these two questions.
Yes, you are absolutely correct. I'm the only one that I do a lot of things, and you know, for me, it sometimes feels like I'm not doing a lot of things, but I'm doing a lot of things, and yeah, I'm the only one. Everyone else is working. Like when Vlad was still a junior, he was working 2 jobs, full-time school, and still winning youth world championships. So, you know, and training every day. So 5 guys. Giannis, for sure. Giannis is the greatest lightweight we have ever seen, you know, in Latvia. He's he is everything that arm wrestling is. Like for me, I remember when I saw 2013 Giannis pulling on national stage in Worlds, or 2014 maybe. I keep forgetting, but maybe 13, yeah. And he won that year, and it was like a painter painting a beautiful picture. He's so precise, and he's just you just, you know, shut the fuck up and just watch him. That's what I want to say, you know. So Giannis, then it would be Raimonds, our 90-kilo puller, one of the toughest guys on the planet for sure, and you know, been benchmark of Latvian arm wrestling for quite some time. Norman Thompson's guy, you know, he has pins on Devon, has pins on John Berzank, few-time world champion, European champion. You know, he's been the strongest guy in Latvia for like 30, 20 years. You know, he's pulling for 30 years. He pulled like last weekend. I lost to him with my left arm in open. I got second, he got first. He's just ridiculous. You know, we have tested so many times. He is the pinnacle. Sanders is the guy that can take it away from him. So next, I would say Sanders, the path that he's on, and he has a great chance of becoming full-time arm wrestler, you know, because he wins the medals, so he will get some money from government. But his job isn't, you know, tearing him apart, so it's pretty good, and he's training a lot and everything else. Vladislaus, you know, Vlad was the first, you know, guy in the junior classes for Latvia that brought in medals, you know, and Vlad is so committed and so strong. Like everyone's asking where is Vlad this year. So Vlad is taking a year off. He bought an apartment, so he's working extra time to pay back for that apartment. He's getting married, I think, next week. So he's there's a lot of things happening. So we talked with him and he's like, please don't be angry. I want to take this year off and just focus on this and then come back. But he's still like, he sees the table, starts itching everywhere, wants to pull, and that's fine. And those are top 5, for my opinion, of all time in Latvia right now.
Right. And one final question, brother, before I let you go. Last year, you launched a training program on Patreon. I think it was for 30 euros per month, and euro is declining now. So it is almost equal to $1 now. So
Yeah.
please explain if that program is still available, what are the levels and what are the basic equipments that we need to have in order to purchase and follow that program.
So me and Giannis, we kind of created what we call Patreon system. So you join, there's a Facebook group where you ask questions. There's not a lot of questions asked there because we like, if there's some topic, we kind of try to cover it and it's covered. And if you have a question, you send me a message, we talk with you. Every week you get a new training program and you just get on the system and just keep training. Equipment is very basic, like the rolling handles, belts, table. If you have, a lot of people don't have tables, a lot of people train at home, but you can achieve almost anything. Like goes on, it's not that we kind of created some systems, it's something that we do ourselves. Everything is, 3-week increments. So the one training plan with some small changes will work for 3 weeks. Then we change it to something completely different. Almost every Monday, if I do not forget, I put up a new plan and you just keep working there and just go to the next plan. Like someone will ask, like, when do I stop? How do I deload? We answer all those questions on forums and things like that. But the activity has been getting bigger, but it's not a lot of people because I think a lot of people cannot find it. And we're terrible at promoting things. Me and the artists, we're the worst. We used to be worst YouTubers because we would go to, let's say, Turkey and film one video, spend 4 days with the best arm wrestlers on the planet because we just want to hang out. We don't want to spend all this time, making videos or making it uncomfortable. We just want to hang out. So we're worst promoters in arm wrestling. We're worst YouTubers in arm wrestling, but somehow it works. So if you want to get better at arm wrestling, it's the easiest way to do it. It's not that much money. And you will have a training system. We'll change that training system. You just have to continuously do that training system. We guarantee you will get better. Like absolutely, you will get better. It's a lot of volume. Like we change some programs is made by Giannis. Some programs are made by me. But we trying to keep it close, so it's not like huge changes for people. Like they don't understand. But I remember Giannis created the first ones, and I was like, I'm putting it up. I'm like, yeah, this is so much volume. He's like, they better get used to it. So yeah, if anyone wants, it's under Patreon on the Voice of Armwrestling under any video. You can join in. But like I have a lot of purchases. We did some training programs on our Shopify store, and those are people are buying those a lot. I just keep getting notifications, but if you want to be consistent, then you don't want to think about like, oh, I finished this 12-week plan. What do I do now? Get on a Patreon system. There's going to be a new program every week. Yeah.
Right. And I really apologize, guys. I was not able to read all of your comments today. And there were probably 20 more questions that I could have asked you. I was really enjoying the questions. And as our chat already knows,
we can stay 10-15 minutes longer if you can. I have no problem.
All right. That sounds amazing. Maybe I can read some comments now.
Yeah, I don't. If there's good questions, those questions need to be answered. And I'm getting lazy. I don't do lives. I don't do anything. And just yeah.
And in the beginning, people were talking about your age, just like every other chat. Then
16 years old. 16 years old.
Yeah. Strongest 16-year-old. And then everyone is talking about why Ryan's forearm is photoshopped. And we already kind of discussed it.
Because it's Ryan.
Yeah, because it's Ryan. So you guys did make both of them. You kind of touched on that steroids topic, and you said that you kind of believe that Ryan is off everything now. And people were also mentioning under Ryan's videos that whenever an athlete says that he's off gear, he usually means that he's taking low about compared to what he was taking earlier. But Ryan did clarify that he did his PCT and now is completely off. So, but there are, I'm sure you also know about it. Many people say that there are some permanent gains. Like once you are not natty, you can never claim yourself to be natty. So, what do you have to say about that situation?
Well, there, and again, people are looking at things very black and white. You have to like, there's a difference, guy that is just doing everything, or guy that stopped doing everything. There's a huge difference. Like, if he's not taking anything, he's hormones, his whole system is messed up for sure. And if he stopped when he said he stopped, which I don't think is true, I think he was using it up until maybe over the top, but I do not speculate, because he was looking different, like different human there. Now look at him. Just look at him. Come on, guys. Just look at him. He looks skinnier. He's he, like, there's when he doesn't have a pump, he looks like a normal human, so all those things. And if he says he's off, I believe him. I think Neil made it pretty obvious that there's less respect for Ryan because of that, and he should have been just being, but like Ryan wanted to chase whatever he wanted to chase. Everyone saw that post where he wants to be in 10-15 years, and I think he absolutely believed he could be there. And I remember me sitting on a podcast and I would say, like, dude, if you would be that great, we would have noticed, and that's the thing, everyone's pushing now these big guys, and this guy can beat Levin, or maybe this guy can beat Levin. They're forgetting that you need to be an arm wrestler. You need to be pretty talented one as well, to beat someone like that. So if it's permanent, some changes, like maybe his wrist got bigger or things like that, it's cool. I have no problem there. But so 2013, I remember I competed in my first WAF Europeans. And after that, they introduced like way more doping tests. And I remember the guys that I was just getting, like, I take a hand and guy just, takes the hand a little bit more tighter and your hand just kind of gives up. I met that guy a year later when there's doping tests, and I beat him so easily, and I see so many guys getting, deflated. So there's a difference when you are fully on everything and you come in full power, or you stop taking it quite some time ago, So you cannot say those things are the same, because it's not. Yeah.
Right. And there was one comment. Andre 19 Marin is saying Ray is also on sauce because he sounds 18 now.
Hey, stop it now. Stop it. Yeah.
So I think there are new. Neil was also saying it depends on what the person took. Permanent gains, I think he was talking about. Neil Pickup is saying exactly, Ray, night and day difference, mate. So you are also saying the same thing. It's something that I always wonder. How can people who have been arm wrestling for more than 10-15 years, you're almost around the 10-12 year range, I think, how can every arm wrestler every time say that they are the strongest that they have ever been? I was also wanted to ask you that question, that what did you change in your training that you are saying like you are feeling like a completely different person compared to 1 or maybe 10 months ago, not even less than 1 month? So is it an obligation for arm wrestlers to say that they are feeling the strongest to sell the pay-per-views? What is the truth here?
So a lot of people, it's like, I'm trying to be very honest. Like, I try not to bullshit people, because people will smell the bullshit and they will not respect you there. So there is a thing when you are preparing for a super match, or when you are just, cruising to arm wrestling competition. It puts a more, like, before Friday, I was in my best shape ever. I prepared as best as I could. And the only way in arm wrestling you can understand where your level is where facing really strong guys, maybe the guys that could beat you, or the guys that are really close to you. So that's my only measurement tool. Like, I haven't I haven't lost a practice match in a month, you know, here. So that's how good I feel. Like I feel that good. If I feel that good on table and no one can do pretty much anything to me, that should say I am best version of myself. Second would be all the pains that I have had, they're gone. You know, maybe not 100%. There's still some issues with my right arm because my left has usually been my best arm. And only for few 2 years, 3 years, my right got better. Like, and even then, it was like there's some problems. Even with Artem's match, I thought I got rid of them, but still my back pressure wasn't activating. It kind of went in when the match was already starting. You can see most of my right arm matches, I will lose my back pressure. I will catch them in a weird position with my pronator and work out from there because something is not working. And I've been paying a lot of attention on getting healthier. So usually for me, when I arm wrestle, and I think this is why it took like 20 minutes to warm up. I take a grip and just feel so much pain in my elbow, and it slowly just goes away while you are, getting more warm. It's gone for like 4 or 5 weeks. It's completely gone. I haven't felt it. I don't have to think about it because when you have some issues, you're going to think about it all the time. You're going to protect yourself all the time. So when I say I am at my strongest, it means I have less pain or injuries than I have had previously. I'm more, I have trained more, frequently than ever. And the weights that I'm lifting, I know they're pretty much best I have ever lifted. Maybe not some dumb lifts, but some good lifts are really good. And on the table, like the guys that usually gave me problems beat me, like I haven't lost to them. So for me, that's where I bring the conclusion that I'm best I have ever been at this point. A lot of guys are just saying it. Absolutely. It's good that you called me out on this. Someone sent me a message, and I'm sorry I'm talking like 20-minute monologues, but someone sent me a message. They're like, "Hey Ray, how do you say you improved so much like in 9 weeks?" And I was like, "Yeah, no, you just competed there, and they see some of my matches, and they're like, oh, you did this, and then you did, and now you say you don't have those problems." So my first half of the year, I was traveling almost every 2 weeks. Like I think most of the time I spent home was 10 days. Imagine that. 10 days. And it's not like regular training. Like even for Artem was the most regular training I have gotten, but it still wasn't because I was still going from Dubai, Malta, Turkey, US, back and forth everywhere. Like even for Europeans, I came in like week after USA. I was still jet lagged for 3 days, and then I went to Romania to compete there. Now I stayed home for pretty much 4 weeks, 6 days in Dubai, 4 weeks back home. And that's where I feel, consistently, you feel better. If anyone says differently, like you can travel around, I felt like shit. It's hard for me to explain. At sometimes I was like, I'm just going to sit here and cry because that's how miserable I feel. I felt so tired. You cannot train, and you have to train, and then you have to go, and then you have to come back, and there's the jet lag, and there's spending like 18 hours just sitting down. It's terrible, So that's where I'm saying I am the strongest I have been because I've been training this whole year. The problem is it wasn't consistent, and now it was very, very consistent.
Yeah, that travel thing that you mentioned makes a lot of sense regard to being the strongest version of yourself, because anyone can understand without even going to other countries. Everyone has traveled in their own country, and it is almost impossible to get strong or even maintain your level of strength when you're outside of your comfort zone. And by comfort zone, I mean your home gym or wherever you are used to train and the guys that you train with.
Everyone's like, how much, you need to gain so much for. I think I was strong this whole year. The problem was I was also very tired and not consistent on my train. I trained as much as I could, but this is different level, baby. This is different. I plan everything out. I trained so fucking much. It's like 2 weeks ago before, like we did this fixed episode where I had my mental breakdown. I was so tired. It was hard for me to explain. They were like, "Oh, Ryan got to him." I was so tired. We just did competition. I slept like 4 hours. Now I have to do fix with 7 people, talk about Chan Shaw. And and whoever was there, and it's I'm so tired, I cannot do this. So then after that, the weights go down, training sessions are less intensity, shorter, and you have more energy, and I feel alive. I'm like, oh yeah, this is nice, life isn't so bad. But for this match, I sacrificed so much. I haven't been to beach for 4 weeks. Like I don't think I have been swimming, and we have nice summer here in Latvia. I haven't done any of that, because there's only one purpose for this summer, and it is to train to beat Ryan Bowen. That's it.
Yeah. And same thing here. I may not be training, but for this YouTube channel, like I love to swim. I love to swim. I've not been to a swimming pool this year. And I really wanted to play some games. I bought a PS4 about a year and a half ago. I haven't plugged that in for almost a year, because I always think if I play for a couple of hours, I should make a video during that time and progress my career on YouTube. And Blue
you can
Monstros,
progress your career on GTA 5.
Blue Monstrosity was saying, Ryan the type of guy to take steroids and not gain any strength. I also had a kind of a similar thought during that Lachlan match, because he took almost everything for that match. And Neil Pickup and Lachlan was just curling him in. Neil was saying, for many years, Rolly has operated in the shadows, and he wasn't yet aware that he's probably the most entertaining and exciting arm wrestler in Latvia. Okay. And one final comment that I wanted to read.
I love that my dad is here on the chat and just giving me support,
Near B saying, love your interviews, brother. Thank you very much. And final comment, I wanted to say my final comments, but my final comments, I've changed it, and Nirbe is giving you final comments on my behalf. These are not my words, but Ray, you probably never heard it before, but please smash the delusional, please. If he will win, it will be a disaster. He will go full delusional mode. So that, I think, means best of luck, Ray.
Thank you. I'll go down on my shield. I'm just gonna give everything I have in that match. If that doesn't work, he's very good. That's all I can say. But yeah.
Thank you very much, brother. Maybe we can do another show after your match, and let's hope you win. And maybe on your channel next time. It was a great, one of the best conversations I had. Thank you very much, brother.
Thank you, Pradeep. Thanks everyone who tuned in. Buy the pay-per-view. Stay strong and love arm wrestling.
Love arm wrestling and watch arm wrestling news.
That's right.
Thank you. Okay. End stream, and it is over. Thank you, brother.